Right. Let's go ahead and add text or type. It's called type also. And that's all the text that you add to your design. Text is very, very, very important. It's called typography. It's the use of text, the art of the use of text. Um, it, a good text or a good typography can make your image that you worked on 100% better, or also you can go the opposite. You can have a very good design, very good use of color, very good use of proportion, but if your type or your text it's or your typography it's terrible, it brings down your design. And again, I could go over and over this, and it's very, very important. I would advise you to check out or read on typography. Um, Look at videos, read information on that. It will really, really make a difference, especially if you go into this field of design. Even though if it's architecture, you still have to provide um, models and present your work. And typography would it's gonna make your work a lot better. So just read on that. Okay, I don't have time. I usually do a big lecture on that, but not have the time to do that right now. So text, we can add some text here. Okay, so text, it's that items, bar, grill, and shops. All right, have that there, the number, the date, and so on and so forth. How to add an Illustrator? Okay, so I'm gonna add it. I'm gonna go here to the side. I'm gonna use text here on the side. Okay, here on your tools, there's a T, all right, and that's a button, and it's called a type tool. Type, it's like text, it's character. Different types is the different characters of text. If you press on it, you have different options, which is follow the path, area type tool. You can play around with this if you want to. We're not going to use them. The only thing we're going to use is the type tool. Okay? Very simple. Just click on it. Click wherever you want the text to be. A lot of people do boxes. I don't like to do that. I like for the box to follow my text. See, so if I do it like this, then I'm going to start typing. And then once I get to a certain point, then it limits myself to where I was. So I rather not to put a box. I rather personally, and again, it's a matter of what is do you want. I rather just click and make the text create the box. Okay, so if I see, it creates it follows up text that I have. So just as a side note. Now text again. Click on the text, type, click on your screen. When you click on your screen, now you can start typing. But if you go to properties, you're gonna notice that here you have a section when you're in text that is called character. These are your fonts. Okay, and again, I'm in properties and I've selected text and I'm ready to type something. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and type something here. Get rid of that. Okay, let's go ahead and type something here. I'm gonna type save the date. Okay, now if I select the text, it's gonna highlight my text. Okay, now once I have my text selected, I can come here and change the font if I want to. Notice for every font it gives you a sample of how it looks. Okay, so I'm gonna use this one. Okay, you can go through them, and again, this is typography. Just read on it, please read on it. It's really gonna make a difference. You want to use the correct font for your design. Okay. So I'm going to use this one for now. So here is where you can select your text, your font. I'm sorry, on a character you get your font there. Depending on the font, you have some options here. In this case, this one doesn't have option; it only has regular. But there's some other fonts. Let's try this one. No, también. Let's try Arial for sure. So Arial. See, now you have options in the text. You can make it narrow. You can make it bold, and you can see the changes here. You can make it bold italic. Okay, so some of them have more options here at the bottom of the character. Not all of them, some of them. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the one I had. Alright, so font, you can make changes to the font or have extra styles. And then here, next button is the text height. So you might make it bigger, click on the plus sign, make it smaller, click on the negative sign. Okay. So that's your, as a matter of fact, let me add some stuff here. Save the date, and I'm going to put 12, 14, 18. All right. So I put here save the date. They're in the same text box. All right. So you can change fonts even though they're in the same text box. For example, I could change the font of the numbers, but I need to select them. And then let's say the numbers I want on a different font. Let's say those I want them in. Uh, I'll put that just for the sake of it, right? And let's see if they have. This one has a lot more options. So let's try. Let's say I like that one. Okay. So you can select on the same text box that you have. You can have different fonts if you need to. All right. So now I want to change the date, save the date, make it a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna change the font of that, make it bigger. Um, and also here at the bottom, you have options, and I'm gonna come back to these, which are gonna be your justification. Right now it's left justify. You can center justify it. So now it's gonna be centered. You can right justify it. All right. So you can play around with that. Actually, something like that will look nice too here if we put everything was right justified. But again, look around, get ideas. So I'm gonna put center justify. Okay. So not only we can change the font on the different text box, we can also change, or the justification. We can change. Well, let's say you wanna change the justification. Well, everything's together. You wanna change the color. That's black. You want this to be red. You can select that one and put that one to the color that you want. Let's say you want to add a stroke on that one. You can do that too. Okay, so you can control individual. That's weird. Okay, you can control your, get rid of this, your text individually. Okay, okay, I don't like that. So let's say I want it like this. Now, so again, I'm in the same text box. So you can go in there, double click inside, and then change what it is they want. For example, let's say I don't want it that big. I want that to be smaller. All right. So what do we find here? We have these options now. Okay. We went over the font. Now notice when I click on this text box, it doesn't give me the exact font and the exact style because I have two in the same one, which is fine. So let's say I want to make some changes now. Okay. I can change the size of this by itself, like I showed you. Also, we can change the space between the text with tracking. If I go into the negative, it becomes closer together. So this is what I want you to do. I hate, well, as a designer, or more as a graphic designer, I dislike, I don't want to say hate, I dislike when somebody just goes in there, types and says, save the date. And it say, okay, 12, 14, 18. And they're like, okay, I'm done. You have the information that it needs, and I'm done. Well, you can play with the text. That's called typography. Again, it will make your work a lot, 100 times better. So play with that, okay? Go in there and play with your text. Think of the negative space that it creates, the space in between the characters. That's very important, all right? So see the text as a design, not just to give information, but as a design itself. So you can do that with tracking. Here you have some options. You can see negative 100. It gives a different feel if you see it like that than if you see it like negative 50. It looks different. 0, it looks different. That looks different. So now you're playing with your text. Make it look nice. All right. So let's say I want to put that one. Actually, no, it's too, well, let's do it like that for now. Okay, and you can do the same thing with this one, right? Let's say maybe we're going to space it out more. The date. All right. And again, I'm just playing around with it. I'm not really trying to tweak it as much. That's what I did with this one. With that one I already had. Okay, so now that's size. Now this right here is leading the space in between the text. Okay, you don't want auto. It's where it was, but you can bring it closer together, the text, or farther apart. Now, if I have it like this, it reads like it's not together. There's a lot of empty space right here. So you have to think of the negative space. I want to see a text that goes like that and then gives my text, which is a date, and then brings it up. So think of it. I mean, it's hard to understand at first, but see your text as shapes uh, and arrange them as such. I'm going to pull this one up, maybe around there. So the negative space is not too much. Actually, it's too close, I think. And then if I could make this one bigger if I want to. And then, so in other words, you have to start playing with the text. Okay? So that's how you add it again. You come text, press where you want it, type what it is that you want, and then come over here and start making the changes that you need to. Justification, font, style, size, leading, spacing between two lines, and tracking spacing between the characters. Now, can you put things in different text boxes? Yes, you can. For example, what I did here, I have save the date. Save and date are together, it's separate because I wanted to put it in the middle. So let's say I want to do the same thing. I can come here, get rid of the, give some space there, and then I'm going to do another text box, and I'm going to put the there, and I'm going to put that to the font that I had. I'm going to bring in bring in the text. What's this one? Maybe around there, and I'm going to make it smaller. So now I can bring that, this is a text box. I can bring that text and put it where I want it. It won't be part of this text, but that's how you can play around with text and use text as a design. And then what I did here, I just added to a little, like the one I did on top, something like that, and then I brought this one down, Shift, Alt, Shift. So that's what I did. So they're the minor things that make a difference. But again, that's one text box, and the is in a different one. Okay? Best thing to do once you're done and you like the way it is, especially if you have different elements in the text on your type design, just grab it and go to Object and Group. That'll be the best thing. That way it stays together. You can just click on one of them and moves, and everything moves together. All right? They're just grouped. They're not part of each other. They're just grouped. You want to ungroup them, just go back to Object, Ungroup, and everything's back. So now you can come and make some changes if you need to. Let's say you want that to be red. So you can do that too. Okay, so there are little things here that will make your design look a lot better. Okay, and you can place text on top of each other, move it around. It becomes just like a, it's like a shape. They're like shapes. You can convert them into shapes, but you don't want to do that right now in case you need to come back and edit your text. Okay, so for example, in this one, you can also rotate it. What I did here, it says one size fits all, and for this I just grab the pen and just put a line like that to show like I want to get rid of that, and then place. That's a font. It's font. Say go with print. And you can rotate the text too. If we click on it, come to the corner, and you can rotate it. And that's what I did here. Typed it and then rotate it. And you can see the box right there. Okay? So let's say something occurred to me. Well, you can do the, also, let's say you want to put that like that. Well, you can grab everything. Let's say you want to put it like, save the date. Just to make it a little more interesting. See, so now it's not as boring as just putting save the date. Now you're playing around with it. Yeah, but I don't like it really, but just so you get the point. All right? So that's how you do text. Very simple again. Now what I did here, like for example, for the logo, it's let me make a copy so you can bring it over here. I think I have it grouped. What I did here, let me ungroup it. I just put, I use two different fonts. I use the font for the name, and that's Footlight, whatever that is. And I use for the bottom, I use Century Gothic. And what I did here, and you can see, I tweaked the size and the tracking. I left it the same, but on Bar Grill and Shops, I changed the font, changed the size, and then also the tracking I changed to 97. So you have to play around with it, okay? Make it look nice. And then to make it into a logo, I mean, I could have just left it like this, but I decided just to add a box. All of this is a box with fill and stroke. And then this is another box, bigger, but that box doesn't have fill, only has stroke, and the stroke has a stroke of 8 points. So very easy. They're just shapes, okay? And then I just grabbed it and united, or not unite, grouped it. That way I can move it if I need to. Okay, so it's to use text is very easy, right? It just click, click, type, and pretty sure you know how to use this because you have been using them in a lot of word processing software. But what do you do with it is what matters, and that's what I want. Typography, right? Play around with the text, play around with the negative space around the text. I can do justice if I try to lecture on typography in this video. I won't do justice, which I'm not going to. But I really, really advise you go online, read on typography, watch videos about typography, and it's gonna really, I mean, take my advice. It really is gonna make a huge difference on your designs later on. Well, for this class and for the other ones you're gonna be taking. All right, so that's text. Go ahead and add the information, and I'm looking forward to see your work, so we can print them and display them. So I'm looking forward to seeing your creations. All right, good luck and have fun.